All right, so let's start by sketching the graph. First of all, I see that the y part is negative, so I know that that this hyperbola, is going to open left-right because the x part is positive and the y is negative. The positive sort of determines the direction, so the x being positive means it's horizontally opening, so left and right. So the a value is 4. So sorry, a squared is 4, so a is 2. So my left, right, I'm going left 2 and right 2. Sorry, I should have started with, this is centered at 0, 0 because there's no left or right on the x's and y's. So starting at the center, which is at 0, 0, a being 2, I go left 2 and right 2, which is how I get those 2 points. The vertical, that's the b squared is 9, so b is 3. So we're going to go up 3 and down 3. So up 3 and down 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my handy little box to sketch in, kind of outline my graph. I'm going to draw in the diagonals of that box. So just drawing the diagonals of that rectangle, which turn out to be our asymptotes. Now I'm going to go ahead and sketch the graph. So the parabola is going to approach those asymptotes and hit those vertices that I calculated. All right, so I should throw some arrows on there to be accurate. So there are 2 vertices, which we are going to be asked to find. So the leftmost vertex is over here at -2, 0, and the rightmost is at +2, 0. The focus, remember the focus comes from a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but a squared and b squared are those 2 numbers, the 4 and 9. So whoops, that's not legible. C squared is 13. So C is the square root of 13. Remember, just like in an ellipse, that number is the distance from the center to the foci. Square root of 13 is about 3.6. So on your graph, 3.6, I'm going 3.6 to the right, which is probably right around there. So that's going to be one of my foci, and then 3.6 to the left. There's another focus. So this one is going to be at -3.6, 0. This one's going to be at +3.6, 0. Or you could just use square root of 13, 0, or negative square root of 13, 0, if you want the exact value. Either one will be acceptable when you type it in. So those are your 2 foci, your leftmost being, just to be clear, this is your leftmost one, this is your rightmost one. So those are those. Then we want the asymptotes, the equation of the asymptotes. So this is just good old algebra 1, the equation of that line, that's the positive one. The slope, easy enough to calculate with our box, rise over run. So it's a rise of 3 and a run of 2. So our slope is 3 over 2. So our equation is just y equals 3/2 x. So that's going to be the equation of the asymptote with the positive slope. And the other one is just going to be the same, but with the negative slope. So that's -3/2 x. You can also write that as 1.5 if you like, but I kind of like the improper fraction. So that is, I also need domain and range. So our domain, remember domain is left and right. So this is a little bit tricky. So starting all the way out to the left, I'm going from -infinity, and it keeps going until it gets here to -2. And then it doesn't exist in here. The box is like a neutral zone or a void. But then it picks up again at 2. So if you look at on the x-axis, right, it's all of these until it gets to -2 and then +2 to infinity. So your domain is going to be negative infinity to negative 2. It does actually reach negative 2. That's the vertex, so it's including union and then positive 2, again, square bracket, because it's including the 2 to infinity. For your range, it does go down forever and up forever, right? It's continuing down in that direction forever. It's continuing up in that direction forever. So your range is negative infinity to infinity. And that's all.